I'm now speaking with Mark Stafford, candidate for 3rd District City Council. And Mark, we've been wanting to talk with you here for quite a while. You know, why did you decide to run for 3rd District City Council?
I felt at the time that city government was becoming so complacent with everything they were doing. They're not so much into building communities and restoring relationships between communities and being more one-on-one with people. It's become a corporation and a business. I understand we need Fort Wayne to grow. I understand we need to generate new businesses and to stimulate the economy. But as city councilmen, it's our place to take care of our district, our neighborhoods. And I work for the park system and I see it deteriorating every day. And people can live a block away from one another and not know each other. And I think that as a city councilman, you should work for the betterment of your community and in your neighborhood. I had some issues and I invited my councilman to my home and the association was there. And it was a very bad issue over a bar in a neighborhood. And we live in a kind of a quiet neighborhood. And he was absolutely against, bringing anything against the business. And I said, well, there's families here that are in jeopardy. The guns are coming into play. They're using knives. There's a lot of police reports, loud music till 2 in the morning, and we're a working class neighborhood. They refused to hear me at any level. Finally, I got my church involved. And because they were so close to my church, the attorneys from the church began to get ground with the owner. Turns out they weren't paying their bills, and the city shut them down. But it took that. My city councilman was not willing to come into, he felt like it was a chore to come into my neighborhood and to meet with me and my association. And I thought, we're the ones that voted you in. You're supposed to be one of us. And I think my city councilman's lost sight of that. And I think it's time we get back to the grassroots part of what it means to be a part of a community.
Now, that's an interesting notion there, because it seems like people don't have that kind of spirit that you have anymore, where they're willing to stand up and take on the establishment, so to speak, and have the audacity to think that they can actually win. Why did you think, after you saw that there was not as much interest in this issue, why did you feel that you could, by keeping on going with it, that you could actually win this case, so to speak?
Just the times that I've been out where I work in the park system, people will talk to you and they come up and they express their concerns. It's a high vandalism area. Hamilton Park is a beautiful park, but it's not maintained very well. The city says they do what they can, but they really don't. Hamilton Park is a beautiful neighborhood and the people there are good people. They're working class people. And it seems like most of the money is at Buckner Park, clear out Bash Road, where it's not a community park. Krieger Park is not a community park. Solomon Barn or Farm, it's not a community park. And a lot of our funds are going that way. And the little leagues are suffering, the PAL football leagues, the Metro football leagues, they all suffer from a lack of funds. The grounds that they're on, the money's not there to maintain them. And the way you're going to keep your community strong is to keep investing in your community. And I just feel like we're failing in that way miserably. And if I was moving a business to Fort Wayne, I don't know of one particular neighborhood that I would want to live in, because the ones that have the nice sidewalks and the street lights, they're non-sociable people. And this community was built on family and community and a sense of community service, and we don't have it anymore. We need to bring that back. People caring about people, young people being mentored by older people, the young people caring for the older people, the widows and the orphans, and we don't have that, and it's a sad day. We need to bring that back.
How?
We got to get involved. It takes, at my level, I know a lot of people. I speak with a lot of people. I help the people in my community, in my area. A lot of it, snow removal. when we have a snowstorm, I know there's people in my community that they can't get out and shovel snow. I don't go shovel their snow for money or for a pat on the back. I do it because I feel obligated, because when I'm their age, I hope somebody steps up and sees the need and fills it. And that's my hope.
You know, once you get into office, what are the first three things that you would do?
My number one, aside from reinvesting in my neighborhoods, sidewalks, street lights, making it safe for the kids to play, I believe that our police and firefighters are in jeopardy of losing their health care. After a 20 years of service with the city wants to do away with their retirement health care. And I think that's a tragedy, that we can come so far as a community and then turn our back on the people who day by day run towards danger to protect us. They serve us in any time of need. They're there for us, and we turned our back on them. I think that in and of itself should be a crime. That once and for all, if we can put in the Constitution in Indiana that property tax would not exceed 1% of the home's value, how could we not memorialize the benefits for these firefighters and police who every day put their life on the line every day for this community and ask for nothing in return except their health care? I find that criminal.
Do you, excuse me, do you see that mindset turning anytime soon, or how do you win that case?
I believe that the city council is going to change tremendously in this election. I believe that the people that we set back for so long and said, these people have a better education than me, they come from a better family, they know the right thing to do, we're going to vote for them and put them in office and trust that what they do is for my good. And it backfired on us. These people, they don't care about our community, they don't care about the services that we provide, that are provided to us. They've lost sight of where they are, where they came from. I have 5 children of my own. My children serve at our church. They serve in my community. And we have a mentoring process at our church. My kids give it their school and their community. Their school is, my daughter goes to Concordia, my son goes to Holy Cross. They're always out in the public doing works in the public for free. As an example, my children are being raised by responsible people. It takes a whole village to raise a child. And I've been fortunate enough that at my family, my kids, with their schooling and with my wife and my church, I feel like we have a good village. And I think that everybody should have that same right.
So in the way that you're trying to instill those kind of virtues in your children, did your parents do that to you to make you want to do what you're doing today?
My mom and dad were born and raised in West Virginia, and my father was a glass blower, made very minimal money, very, very indigent family. But my father said, if you have a dream and you work hard, dreams come true. By the time I graduated high school in 1983 in West Virginia, the coal mines had shut down, the support jobs had shut down, and it was the highest unemployment rate in the United States of America. My brother had come to Fort Wayne as a brick mason, and about 1990, he said, there's so much work out here. My father always told me, there's 2 classes of people in the world. There's rich and there's poor, and I don't have to tell you where we fall. And when I came to Fort Wayne and I saw the manufacturing jobs in Fort Wayne in 1990 and the late 80s and early 90s, there was a middle class. We had a viable, strong middle class people in Fort Wayne. And it's quickly dwindling back to the low class, the rich and the poor. And I couldn't wait to tell my dad there was a middle class. I found it in Fort Wayne. And I feel it's slipping away from us, and I feel that it's our duty to bring it back.
You know, what is your overall vision for Fort Wayne? Because if you're the head of a district, you still have to blend in and hopefully have a common objective with the other councilmen here across the city. But what do you see Fort Wayne being in the next 5-10 years?
I do believe that with the projects that and the money they've invested with downtown is going to work. It's going to work. I believe the colleges, IIT down the road, IPFW, these colleges are bringing jobs and homes, housing, work, construction. We need to keep as much construction local as we can, because that money stays in your community, and it supports the mom and pop shops that have, the market on the corner and the hardware store on the corner is fading quickly. And at one time, there was a hardware store, every 5 blocks, or a community grocery. And big box stores have pushed that out. I understand that's progress, but we still need to, in my district, we have a lot of vacant businesses. We continue to give permits to build new buildings for new business rather than revitalize the buildings that we already have existing. It's a moving, living, breathing thing. We need to refill these buildings. If it's tax abatements, I don't feel that tax abatements, I disagree with those strongly, only in as much when you have a place that has 4 employees that was going to be here anyway. The rent-to-own centers, they're going to be here. The society demands it. They're going to be here. We're giving tax abatements that doesn't allow them to pay property tax or payroll tax. Whatever taxes that the abatements are given, I feel that the middle class and the working class people are the ones keeping Fort Wayne above water. We need to quit giving the milk for free, and Fort Wayne will grow with or without a tax abatement. It's going to grow. The wheels are in motion. It's going to move forward.
Last thing here, I heard you mention a lot about your children and education and getting people more involved here. What do you think about the concept of using this upcoming forum, the 2015 candidates, as an education opportunity? Because I've been working on getting students to come out to the forums, and I'm explaining this concept to educators. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. My daughter's a junior at Concordia. I'm hoping that she'll be here, and if we fail to reach our children, then we failed society. And if we don't engage them at the junior and senior in high school and harness the knowledge, they're going to leave Fort Wayne, and they're going to go somewhere else, and they're going to be successful somewhere else, and they're not going to be involved. At some point, we have to educate our children to give back to the community, and the community will continue to give back to you. We keep growing out, and it was like a tree. The inside became hollow. Now we've reinvested in downtown. Downtown, I think, is in pretty good shape. Now the infrastructure all around downtown in my district, we have good neighborhoods that the sidewalks are bad, the street lighting is bad. There's a lot of churches in my neighborhood. Churches can't do it all. And as a city councilman, it's not only your job, but you're committed to helping everybody around you, not the people in the neighborhood where you live or the next business that wants to come in. It's your job to be available to these people at any time the need is there. We need emergency storm information in my neighborhood. If a tornado came through my neighborhood, there is no plan of action. Where's the nearest shelter? Where can I get water? Where can I get food? None of these things, as far as I know, are put into place. And these are, I guess, city councils become too busy to worry about individual families and neighborhoods, and we need to bring that back.
This is the last question here. What do you want to say to people as to why they want to vote for you?
I would like to say that they can trust me, that when I give you my word, I'm not going to go downtown and vote against you. The workers is a byproduct of the people. If we create good people and we have good jobs, we're going to have a good community. We need to invest in people, and it starts with the first person. As a foster parent for 7 years, we had many children come through our home, and the number one thing is my children would always make sure that these children who've lost everything left my home with a toy, a ball, a basketball, a baseball, something that they could take back with them, thinking that I'm teaching my children at this age that when you give to somebody, 10 years from now, that person's life, they may look back and know that you were the first peg in that hole that brought them back to their community. And the works in the community, the centers that are in this community here are so strong and viable. The Weiser Center, the McMillan Center, the Jennings Center, the Cooper Center. Mr. Hines has absolutely knocked the ball out of the park. These children have a hope and a future because of men like him in this community have come around these children. They're going to be great. What we need to do is take that model and move it. I would like to see that in the 3rd District. I need a community center for these kids by Hamilton Park and Lincoln, the new school at Lincoln, the park they're making. That needs to be a community center for kids that has after-school care and summer care to mentor these kids in the right way to go. The southeast part of Fort Wayne, Mr. Hines cannot be thanked enough, because if it was not for him and the example, working and seeing it firsthand from the park department standpoint, he's done a wonderful thing with the children in this community. His legacy will live forever. If I'm half the city councilman that he is, then that would be good enough for me.